Ladies and gentlemen, my dear audience, ladies and gentlemen, there's a man who walks alone. Solitude is not weakness. It is strength and training. In a world that moves so fast, where noise is constant and distractions are endless, choosing to walk alone is often seen as strange. People assume that the man who walks alone must be lonely, or worse, that something is wrong with him. But the truth is, solitude is not the absence of strength. It is the proving ground where real strength is full. It is in solitude that a man learns who he really is, not who the world tells him to be. When the noise fades and the applause disappears, what remains is character. What remains is the honest conversation between a man and his creator, a man and his destiny. A man in solitude does not run from responsibility. He runs toward refinement. In the quiet, he confronts himself. He faces his weaknesses, fears, his addictions, and his insecurities. There's no one to impress, no mask to wear, and no stage to stand on. It's just him and the raw reality of who he is. And it is in that place where transformation begins. Most people are terrified of being alone because solitude strips away the filters. It removes the distractions that hide our brokenness. But the man who embraces solitude understands that it is not a prison. It is a gym, a training ground where mental, emotional, and spiritual muscles are built. In solitude, there is time to think deeply, to dream without interruption, and to reconnect with purpose. Society often teaches men to be busy, to chase, to grind without pause. But solitude gives a man time to breathe, to reset and to align. It sharpens his vision and renews his energy. It is in the silence that he hears the still small voice of guidance that the noise of the world drowns out. He learns to stop living on autopilot and starts living intentionally. He begins to choose discipline over distraction, faith over fear, and vision over validation. Many confuse isolation with solitude. Isolation is running away from the world out of fear. Solitude is stepping back from the world out of wisdom. The man in solitude isn't hiding, he's preparing. He's not bitter, he's building. While others spend every moment seeking comfort, he chooses the discomfort that produces growth. He denies short-term pleasure for long-term purpose. He doesn't chase what is popular, he pursues what is permanent. This kind of man is rare. He doesn't talk much about what he's doing, but when the time comes, his results will speak volumes, because strength that is formed in secret is often revealed in public. When a man embraces solitude, he also gains clarity. He stops confusing activity with progress. He no longer needs to be around people just to feel important. He's no longer controlled by loneliness or pressured by the expectations of others. He becomes rooted, grounded, and stable. And from that place of strength, he becomes unshakable. He doesn't need to announce himself. He doesn't need to seek attention. He becomes the kind of man whose silence is louder than noise, whose actions are louder than words. So when you see a man walking alone, understand this. You're looking at someone who is mastering himself. You're looking at someone who is choosing the narrow path, the road less traveled, not because he has to, but because he knows that solitude is not weakness, it is strength and training. And one day the world will see the power that was developed when no one else was watching. Self-worth isn't dependent on external validation. It doesn't come from likes, followers, compliments, or relationships. It isn't determined by someone's approval or the attention we receive. Real self-worth begins when a man understands who he is, not based on how others see him, but based on the truth he accepts about himself deep within. When a person builds their worth on outside opinions, they're like a leaf in the wind, tossed around by every change in mood, emotion, or reaction from others. One compliment lifts them high, and one criticism crushes them. That's not stability. That's slavery to perception. There comes a time in life when a man must decide whether he'll live for applause or for purpose. Applause fades, purpose remains. External validation is like sugar. Gives a quick rush, but leaves you empty, addicted, and always needing more. One person tells you you're amazing and your spirit sources, but the moment they turn away or stay silent, you begin to question your value. That's the trap. That's the danger of letting others define your worth. You become a prisoner to their opinion. You become a mirror, only reflecting what others see rather than a window revealing what's already inside. Self-worth is built in silence, not in the spotlight. It grows stronger every time you choose to keep going when no one's watching. Every time you show up, not because someone will clap for you, but because it's the right thing to do. It deepens when you learn to be content without validation, proud without praise, and steady without being seen. That kind of self-worth doesn't crumble when people walk away because it was never based on them in the first place. It's rooted in identity, not image. It's rooted in who you are, not who you pretend to be. Many people spend their whole lives trying to be enough for others, wearing that performing for acceptance. But the truth is, no matter how perfect you try to be, someone will always disapprove. Someone will always criticize, misunderstand, or reject you. If your worth is built on their words, you'll break every time they change their tone. That's why true self-worth must come from within. From your values, your integrity, your faith, and your unwavering belief that you are enough, even when no one else says so. There's a quiet power in knowing your worth without needing to prove it. A man who walks confidently alone isn't arrogant, he's free. He no longer needs a relationship to feel loved. He no longer needs applause to feel seen. He no longer needs constant reassurance to feel secure. He is grounded in something deeper than attention. He's grounded in truth, and the truth his worth isn't earned through performance. It's recognized through understanding. When you recognize that your existence has value, that your presence matters, and that your life has purpose, you stop looking for people to complete you. You start showing up whole. This kind of worth changes how you walk, how you speak, and how you love. You no longer settle for less because you know what you bring to the table. You no longer beg to be chosen because you've already chosen yourself. You no longer shrink to fit into places that were never meant for you. You grow, you rise, and you walk in confidence, not because others lifted you, but because you lifted yourself through truth. He chooses growth over gratification. In a world that constantly pushes for instant pleasure, quick results, fast love, easy success, this man stands different. He doesn't chase what feels good in the moment. He pursues what makes him better in the long run. The temptation is always there. It's easy to scroll, to indulge, to waste hours chasing comfort. But he knows that comfort never made anyone great. He has learned that short-term pleasure often comes at the cost of long-term progress. So he chooses growth. He chooses discomfort when it leads to development. He says no to what is easy so he can say yes to what matters. While many waste time numbing their pain with distractions, he leans into the pain and lets it teach him. He doesn't run from failure, he studies it. He doesn't avoid the grind, he embraces it. Every early morning, every sacrifice, every quiet night spent working instead of partying is a seed he plants into the ground of his future. He's not afraid to be misunderstood, not worried about being left out because he knows what he's building is worth it. The path of growth is narrow and few are willing to walk it. But he walks it every single day, not because it's easy, but because he knows who he's becoming through it. Gratification is loud. It yells, "Do it now. You deserve it." But growth is quiet. It whispers, "Keep going." Even when no one's watching, this man has trained his mind to listen to the whisper. He's learned that what he wants right now isn't always what he'll be proud of later. He doesn't take shortcuts. He doesn't look for easy wins. He's playing a long game, building character, vision, and discipline that will stand the test of time. Discipline is his companion. It walks with him through every challenge, every temptation, and every season of doubt. While others depend on motivation, he depends on discipline. He understands that motivation fades, but discipline keeps him moving when feelings fail. Discipline gets him out of bed when he's tired. It keeps him focused when distractions scream for attention. It reminds him of his purpose when everything around him tells him to quit. Why? He doesn't wait to feel ready. He moves because he made a commitment to himself, to his vision, to his future. Discipline is the quiet decision to do what must be done even when no one is clapping. It's the reason he says no to things that steal his time and energy. It's why he sets boundaries, why he holds himself accountable, why he shows up even on the hard days. Discipline makes him consistency, makes him powerful. He's not driven by emotion. He's driven by intention. And because of that, he grows steadily. Maybe not as fast as others who cheat the system, but stronger, wiser, unshakable. He understands that every great man in history was forged through fire. And fire never feels good, but it purifies. So when the pressure comes, when the pain hits, when no one else seems to be grinding like he is, he doesn't back down. He doesn't compromise. He doesn't trade his future for a fleeting thrill. He keeps going, fueled by the vision of who he's becoming. Because he knows the reward of growth is not just success, it's strength. And the reward of discipline is not just progress, it's freedom. Discipline is his companion. It walks beside him like a silent partner, unseen but ever present. In a world obsessed with feelings and fleeting motivation, he has made a choice to build his life on something more solid. Discipline. It's not glamorous. It's not loud. It doesn't shout for attention or seek applause. But it is the quiet engine behind everything he's becoming. While others wait for the perfect mood or the right timing, he moves with purpose because discipline has trained him to act even when he doesn't feel like it. He understands that if he only worked when he felt inspired, he would never reach the life he's building. Discipline has taught him the value of routine, of small daily choices that compound over time. It's what wakes him up before the sun rises. It's what keeps him focused when distractions call his name. It's what pushes him to say no when the world offers easy detours from his purpose. There are days when he's tired, when his mind tries to negotiate for comfort, when doubt whispers that it's okay to skip, to rest, to delay. But discipline reminds him why he started. It holds him accountable when no one else is watching. Discipline gives him structure. It's the reason his goals don't stay dreams. It's the bridge between vision and reality. Every action he takes, even the small ones, waking early, training his body, managing his time, finishing what he starts, are bricks laid with intention. He's not perfect. He doesn't pretend to be. But he knows that consistency beats intensity every time. While others burn bright for a moment and then disappear, he stays steady, unshaken by trends, undistracted by noise. Because discipline isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about showing up again and again, regardless of the mood, the moment, or the mess. He's learned that real freedom isn't doing whatever you want. It's having the power to say no to what doesn't serve you. And that power comes from discipline. It guards his mind, sharpens his focus, and protects his time. He doesn't scroll aimlessly or waste hours chasing meaningless pleasure. He guards his energy because he knows where it's going to his growth, his calling, his future. While others are led by impulse, he is led by principle. His days are not left to chance. They are led by choices made with clarity and conviction. Discipline has also made him reliable. People trust him not because he talks big, but because he follows through. He honors his word even when it costs him. He honors his time even when distractions are tempting. Discipline has shaped his character in ways motivation never could. It's not about grinding endlessly. It's about being intentional, being consistent, and keeping his life aligned with his values. Every sacrifice, every moment of delay, every postponed pleasure is a seed planted for a future harvest. He knows it. He believes in it. He lives by it. There is no shortcut to greatness. There is no elevator to excellence. Only steps, only process, only discipline. And he embraces it not with bitterness, but with pride. Because while others search for hacks, he's building habits. While others seek comfort, he's building courage. Discipline is not a punishment to him. It is a gift, a daily companion that whispers to keep going. You're becoming something no one can take from you. And that is more valuable than anything the world could ever offer. He is preparing, not postponing. In a world where delay is often disguised as patience and passivity as wisdom, this man chooses a different path. He doesn't sit idle waiting for things to magically align. He's not wasting his time drifting aimlessly or hoping that life just happens to favor him one day. Every day, every moment, he is building. He is sharpening his mind, strengthening his habits, and cultivating his character. Not because he's trying to impress anyone, but because he understands the weight of the future he's called to carry. There is a difference between waiting and preparing. Many people use waiting as an excuse to stay comfortable. They say they are waiting for the right time, but deep down they're avoiding growth. They delay responsibility, avoid commitment, and postpone decisions because they fear failure, rejection, or discomfort. But this man isn't hiding behind excuses. He knows that the right timer rarely announces itself. It is often disguised in ordinary days, hard choices, and unseen effort. So instead of wasting years waiting for ideal conditions, he is preparing now for the life he wants later. He treats every day like a training ground. Every discipline, every sacrifice, every choice he makes is shaping the kind of man he will be when the opportunity arrives. He's not looking for shortcuts, and he doesn't rely on luck. He understands that success without preparation leads to collapse, so he studies when others scroll. He works when others sleep. He stays committed when others quit. Not because he's better, but because he's focused. He knows that when the door opens, he must be ready to walk through it, not start getting ready. Preparation is not glamorous. It doesn't come with applause or instant results. It's quiet. It's hidden. It's often lonely, but it is powerful. He is mastering the things no one sees so that when the spotlight comes, he doesn't crumble under the pressure while others are consumed with being solid. He knows that real strength is not built in the moment of opportunity. It is revealed there. The foundation is laid long before anyone else notices. He doesn't need constant recognition to stay motivated. His vision fuels him. His calling sustains him. He understands that becoming the right person is more important than finding the right opportunity. That's why he invests in his growth now. He doesn't say, I'll start when I get the job, or I'll get serious when the right person comes along. He's not waiting for a relationship to develop character. He's not waiting for success to start practicing discipline. He's doing it now because he knows that the habits he builds in obscurity will define how he handles visibility. This man refuses to coast. He refuses to live a life of excuses and regrets. He's not postponing purpose for comfort. He's not delaying greatness for pleasure. Every action he takes today is an act of preparation. When others waste time wondering when things will change, he's becoming the change. He doesn't just dream. He works. He doesn't just hope. He prepares. Because one day the moment will come, the opportunity will appear, the door will open. And when it does, he won't need to scramble or second guess this. He will walk into it with quiet confidence, knowing he prepared for this long before it arrived. Wholeness comes before partnership. A man who understands this truth doesn't look for someone to complete him. He seeks to become complete within himself first. He knows that a healthy relationship isn't built on two halves coming together, but on two whole people walking side by side. He's not desperate for love, attention, or affirmation because he already carries those things inside. He doesn't see a partner as a solution to his pain or a rescue from his loneliness. He sees a partner as a complement, not a crutch. Not a crutch. In a world where relationships are often rushed into out of fear of being alone, he chooses patience. He chooses growth. He chooses healing. He understands that bringing brokenness into a relationship without first dealing with it will only create more pain. So he takes the time to confront his wounds. He faces his fears. He asks the hard questions. He doesn't bury his insecurities under affection or hide his flaws behind charm. He brings them into the light and works through them so that when the right person comes along, he doesn't need them to fix what he never addressed. He learns how to be alone without being lonely. He builds a life he's proud of, one rooted in purpose, discipline, and peace. He learns to manage his emotions, handle conflict, and communicate with maturity. He learns how to love himself, not in a self-absorbed way, but in a stable and grounded way. That self-love becomes the standard for how he gives love to others. He's not easily shaken or needy because his sense of identity isn't tied to another person's presence. He knows who he is, what he stands for, and what he brings to the table. Wholeness isn't about perfection. It's about responsibility. It's about owning your growth, your past, your habits, and your healing. This man doesn't expect a partner to carry the weight of his emotional baggage. He doesn't enter a relationship looking to be saved. He enters to share, to serve, to build. And because he is whole, he attracts someone who is whole too. Someone who isn't looking for a savior, but a teammate. Together they don't just love, they build. They don't just survive, they thrive. When you're whole, you don't settle. You don't compromise your standards out of fear of missing out. You don't ignore red flags just to avoid being single. You don't chase people who don't value you. You wait. You focus. You grow because you know your worth, and you know that the right partnership isn't rushed. It finds you while you're becoming. It meets you in your purpose. And when it does, it doesn't feel like pressure. It feels like peace. This man lives with that mindset. He doesn't put his life on pause while waiting for someone to walk into it. He lives fully now. He builds now. He heals now so that when the time comes, he brings a full heart, not a broken one. He offers love, not need. He contributes strength, not just expectation, because wholeness always comes before partnership. And the more whole he becomes, the more ready he is to give, to lead, and to love without fear. So if you see a man walking alone, don't assume he's lost. Don't mistake his silence for weakness or his solitude for sadness. That man is building something deeper than the world can see. He's not chasing validation, he's choosing purpose. He's not wasting time, he's preparing for something greater. While others chase quick gratification, he's committed to growth. While others wait to be rescued by love, he's learning to stand strong in wholeness. That man is building something deeper than the world can see. On the surface, it may appear quiet, uneventful, even ordinary. But beneath the silence lies a foundation being laid, brick by brick, decision by decision. He understands that true strength does not come from applause or validation. It is born in the moments when no one is watching, when he chooses discipline over distraction, growth over gratification, and purpose over approval. He is not chasing validation. Validation fades quickly. It is fleeting, fragile, and dependent on the opinions of others. To live for it is to remain enslaved to shifting voices, never standing firm in one's own identity. He knows this, and so he chooses a different path. He chooses purpose. Purpose gives direction when emotions waver. It offers clarity when life feels chaotic. And it provides strength when the weight of trial seems unbearable. Purpose is the anchor that keeps him steady, the compass that ensures his steps are not wasted. He is not wasting time. While others scroll endlessly, numbing themselves with entertainment or seeking comfort in temporary pleasures, he is investing his time wisely. He prepares mentally, emotionally, and spiritually for something greater than what the eye can see. He knows that greatness is not stumbled upon. It is cultivated in the unseen hours of preparation. Like a seed buried in the soil, his efforts may remain unnoticed for a season, but in time, growth will break through, undeniable and strong. While others chase quick gratification, he is committed to growth. Growth is often uncomfortable. It requires sacrifice, patience, and resilience. It demands the humility to learn and the courage to fail, to rise again and to try once more. Growth does not flatter the ego, it refines the soul. He embraces this refining process, trusting that every challenge, every delay, every test is shaping him into the man he was created to be. While others wait to be rescued by love, he is learning to stand strong in wholeness. He does not seek completion in another person, for he knows that no one can heal the wounds he refuses to face, and no relationship can fill the emptiness he has not yet resolved. Instead, he turns inward, confronting his shadows, healing his heart, and learning to be whole on his own. In doing so, he becomes capable of giving love, not from desperation, but from abundance. This path is not glamorous. It is not instantly rewarding. It is slow, steady, and often misunderstood. But in the end, it produces something the world cannot ignore: a man of depth, character, and purpose. A man who does not crumble when life shakes, who does not quit when storms rage, and who does not bend to the pressure of shallow approval. He is building something eternal within himself. And when the time comes, the world will see not just the man he has become, but the quiet strength of the journey that shaped him.